We're going to get fancy here on the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. Did you ever notice if you search on YouTube just Finders Flippers, I get an ad for Flipper Finders, which is a party boat in Charleston, South Carolina. It's a picture of women in bikinis dancing on a pontoon.
Okay, maybe a problem.
Seriously, Amy, this is just business. They got girls in bikinis dancing on a boat. We've got resellers. We can wear our speedos. And
they send us a cease and desist.
So that'll be the last episode of the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast.
I'll probably not be in my office because this office is not conducive to wearing any kind of costume because I'll knock stuff down. And
What, are you going to put on a big man suit or something? Or what?
I don't know.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. After a week off, we are back, gentlemen. Good to see you all.
Good to be back.
Guys, I've missed you.
I miss you all, too.
It's good to be back. 160 subscribers. We're closing in on 200. The live is coming soon. I can feel it. If you guys are here for the first time, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And to all you OGers out there, it's good to see you again.
What do you think, with or without? There I am without.
Oh my! Wow! Look at who's that guy?
Dude, are you 20 years old in that picture?
So let us know in the comments, beard or no beard for Stewart. So
I say you shave it off and cut your hair down low again.
I know I'm getting kind of hit. I mean, I'm almost Grizzly Adams looking now, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to quarter four.
Hello.
Splashing into quarter four.
Yeah, and it must be chilly. We're all bundled up.
Yeah, I'm wearing a little jacket and sweat top, and look at us.
Burr.
Yeah, burr. I'm starting off quarter four with a bang. I got a little bit of more Ephemera sold today, $13.
Look at that.
Yeah, a McCall's June 1929 magazine.
Wow, those things always have some cool ads in them.
I know that it's so neat to look at them because, I mean, look here, Del Monte from 1929. Look at that.
What month did the stock market crash?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Somebody needs to look that up.
Speaking of pineapple, have y'all tried those pink pineapples?
Yes, I have one at the beach.
Yeah, they're really good. Amy bought one the other day. It's not something you can eat every day. It's a luxury. They're like $10 a piece, but it was a lot sweeter than a normal pineapple. Look kind of like a watermelon or something because they're very red. But yeah, they look like a pineapple. The only thing is, though, they ship them without the leaves on top. And the reason they do that is because I guess Del Monte, I think, is who has the pink ones. They have it trademarked or copyrighted. So they don't want anybody to be able to grow them. And then they use those leaves to, I guess, propagate their new pineapple crop. So I thought that was an interesting fact. I went to this killer. It was an estate sale, but it was just run by the people who bought this house. So you know the road, what's the name of the road? I've gone blank on it now. You know the one that used to run behind the XXX Theater there off Chapman Highway West?
It was Norton.
Norton, yeah. So we went to this estate sale on Norton, and the backstory, this lady had died who owned the house like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And she was obviously a hoarder of some sort. It was kind of like the sale we went to in Fountain City, but a lot more stuff and a lot better stuff, I would say. So I saw a post on Facebook about it, and I guess this lady had bought the house about 4 months ago, and it had just been sitting, not empty, but full of stuff with nobody living in it for like the last 3 or 4 years. So my brother and I got there at 7:30, and we were the first people to get there. And they had these 2 outbuildings. So we walked through the house first, and I picked up some stuff there. But then there were these 2 outbuildings that she said nobody had been in since they bought the house. So it was just full of boxes. And man, I got so much stuff, including this cool Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
I guess that's like
cool.
one of those carnival mirrors. Mm-hmm. And then I got a couple of these. This one's going to be hard to show, but you know what? The velvet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my parents had a Jesus one of those.
Yeah, they didn't have a Jesus one, but I did get a couple of Jesus tapestries. So they did have the Jesus stuff covered. They had a Jesus tapestry and a Last Supper tapestry, and then I got a moon landing tapestry, which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I just, my brother and I were both making these huge piles in the driveway, and it's cool. Of course, when you do that and you haven't asked them about pricing or anything, you're always a little worried, if I bid off more than I can chew, are they going to tell me it's, like thousands of dollars for all this stuff? Well, I think I spent $100 and got, this huge pile of stuff, and I think my brother spent 40 or 50. But then it was so good. My wife and I and my daughter and her friend were going to Dollywood, so we went up Chapman Highway and stopped by again, and I bought $40 more worth of stuff. So,
dang,
already sold a few things I got. So that was a fun one. It's one of those. I always have great intentions of videoing these things. I just can't. I guess I just can't multitask like that. I mean, I start filming and then I can't look and I don't know. So.
Well, it's almost like you have a feeling like you're going to miss out on something if you mess with the camera, and you're sitting there fumbling with it and you're like, oh, I've got to keep moving.
The funny thing with this one, so this outbuilding was just stuffed with bins and boxes. So, I asked him, I said, hey, can we bring them out and put them in the yard in front of the thing? She said, absolutely, because that's what we want to do anyway, and just open them up. So, after we'd been there about 10 minutes, people started showing up. So as I was bringing them out, and everything in these bins was wrapped like in paper. So you couldn't just kind of see, you had to unwrap stuff. And so I only would look at the top layer because I was kind of the same thing. I was worried if I didn't get the next bin, I might miss something good. Right. So that's why when Amy and I went back later, we found a lot of stuff in the bins that I'd originally pulled out that morning. But yeah, it was a really cool house, and right there in our old stomping grounds. So
are they gonna? You think they sold out, or do you think they're gonna have it again? Or
I don't know. They had. I can't even tell you the number of bins of clothes they had. Because they had the two outbuildings, and a lot of the bins were just old clothes. In fact, I got a cool Looney Tunes Olympic sweatshirt from 1995. That had bugs and all the different characters. Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, it had a couple of little stains on it, so I only ended up selling it.
They don't even care.
20, I think. If it would have been in perfect condition, I think I could have sold it for 35 or 40. Then I sold a dress, a girl's dress, which I never deal in that kind of stuff, but it was just like a feather print. It had all these feathers on it. Amy actually got that one when we went back. So, I don't know, Wes, if they're going to do it again or not, or if they have already, called somebody to get it or donated it, or what they were going to do with all the leftover stuff. I don't feel like, the fact I went twice, I don't feel like there's a bunch of stuff I missed. I'm sure there's been some stuff. And by the time we got back that afternoon before we went to Dollywood, it was packed. There were tons. But it's such an awesome feeling when you show up to something like that and you're the first person there and there's nobody else behind. We had 15, 20 minutes where there was nobody but us.
You want to tell them, put a sign out, sell clothes. We'll just take it all, don't we?
Stewart started pulling all their yard sale signs out on the blocks.
Or turning them, sending them down the road.
Yeah. We went to Dollywood I guess it was Saturday night, and traffic was horrible getting there. So we're thinking, man, it's just going to be awful. And, my daughter had her friend in town and they were hoping to ride a few rides. So it took us a while to get there, but I guess a lot of people were leaving, as we were getting there. So the park wasn't overly crowded, but all the rides were still 30, 45-minute rides. So we were just walking around. These two little girls came up to us and said, hey, are y'all still riding rides? And Rosie was like, yeah. And she goes, here, you can have our, whatever they call their fast pass type deals. And it was cool. They're the ones, they have two different ones. They have the ones where you can ride every ride once, but then they have the unlimited ones. So they have the unlimited ones. So Rosie and Abby got to go ride every ride, that they wanted a couple of different times. So,
well, that's good.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, we took last week off.
I know. It was weird.
Took a hiatus. And then I shared from my balcony a little bit of Panama City Beach in place of our podcast last week. So it was 7:00 in the morning when I took that video. So, but that's not the most exciting news. On Sunday morning, we got there on Saturday. Sunday morning, my granddaughter went with us, and daughter and her husband and stuff. And well, my granddaughter was walking across the outdoor balcony there, walked over to me at 7:00 in the morning. I was like, what is she doing? She had a pregnancy test on her. She holds it up and she goes, "Pop, pop, look." and I'm standing there because I just woke up and I was like, why is she holding a pregnancy? I said, "Is your mom pregnant?" She goes, "She is. I'm going to be a big sister." So,
oh, that's awesome, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Got another grandbaby on the way. So,
that's super cool. At least it wasn't a COVID test.
No, yeah. You never know now, Johnny. You're just like, you got the COVID and you're here staying with us. But yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Grandbaby. Yeah. That's how we started our week off. So
when is she due?
I think she's a month and a half so far. So I would say sometime in June.
Yeah.
If they did the numbers right, May or June. So yeah, really cool. Good way to start it off. They've been trying for 3 or 4 years wanting to have another one, and they just hadn't been able to. So of course, about 2 months ago, we had all those little things, you put on your cabinets and stuff so they can't open the doors. Mm-hmm. I told my wife, I said, now, as soon as I take these off, they're going to have another one. And here we are 6 weeks later. So that's just the way it works. Yeah.
So well, I have to say that I was so motivated by Kathy coming on the show that we went to New York City this weekend.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah.
Very cool. And what did you get into?
We went to the Bills-Jets game on Monday night.
Oh.
So that was fun. It was very cold, very windy. But there was so much going on in New York. Like the Yankees had a game that night. The New York Liberty, the WNBA team, are in the finals. The Mets were playing. The Rangers were home. So Jets tickets were like $70, which for an NFL game is actually really cheap. In the stadium, it was the stadium. Like the upper deck was only like half full, and they basically just showed the Yankee game on the TV the whole time. So people weren't even really paying attention.
Oh, wow.
And of course, we went to a Broadway show. Had to keep that musical streak going.
Yeah, what did you end up seeing?
So this time we saw Aladdin. So much safer. Oh. Knew all the words. It was pretty cool. That was the first time I'd ever gone to a Broadway show. It was fancy.
Now,
so Kathy, if you're watching this, leave a comment for Johnny.
That's right, Kathy.
And did y'all see we had a request to recreate Mamma Mia live on the podcast?
I did see that. Now, how are we going to pull that one off?
Man.
No.
Anybody got any thoughts?
Can either of y'all sing would be the first question.
Oh, yeah. No.
No.
I mean, if I started singing any ABBA song or any song for that matter, the internet would probably break. But yeah, we could practice off camera and then sing a rendition of Dancing Queen, I guess.
So, yeah, Stewart, I'd love to see your voice go that high.
Yeah, I would too.
And I guess speaking of Kathy, I guess we owe her an apology for misspelling her name like 4 times before we got it right. I know, like in the original title, so not to throw blame at Wes, but he had it spelled wrong in the original. So then
I did.
Then I had, so then I did the description, and I misspelled both her first and her last name. And then, I reached out.
And then you sent me the text. You said, "Should we change her?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And then he didn't change the last name. So I'll go ahead and accept responsibility for messing it up. So Kathy, it was my fault.
We both had a part in that. Johnny's the only one blameless in this.
Oh, so. Perfect. That's how I like it.
The only excuse I have, I was trying to do it in my condo. I was kind of out of sorts. So,
Yeah, I had no excuse, but but I did reach out to Kathy and apologize. She said no worries, and she was, anytime we want to have her back on, she said just ask her and she'll be glad to come on. So And I guess speaking of guest appearances, just to give a plug real quick, I think we're scheduled to be on the $1 Million Peddlers show in November. I think November 13th, maybe. So I think once again, Mr. Magazine has something more important to do than his podcast or his show. So, David's scraping the bottom of the bucket and asked us to come, so.
We're starting
with
to become
$1 Million B Squad.
We're becoming adjunct $1 Million Peddlers.
Yeah, and I guess the shows we're on, I think we mentioned before, they go down to more like $100 peddlers. But so I guess we do need to try to find a time to get them back on when we can get Mr. Magazine. But I know I think it's like different travel sports they do and things like that. So, and I can certainly identify with that because I was there one day. In fact, this is one of my son's AAU teams right here.
So let's talk about our consignment chats episode 37. When Wes was looking down and you all were having a good laugh. I watched it back. I was forced laughing. I was like, look at them. Because I was trying to get Kathy on, and I wasn't even paying attention to what y'all were doing. So I figured out how to put like a thing on my screen, just like, he's completely oblivious.
Yeah, I saw that. I was laughing at that.
Now, did you just say consignment chats? You said consignment chats, didn't you?
That's what it was. When y'all were talking about.
He's talking about the birthday.
Yeah, when we were talking about consignment chats.
Yeah. Yeah, when y'all did the video and stuff, but that was good.
Yeah, that video turned out great. Joe's part at the beginning, I mean, it was hard to top that after he did his little spiel at the beginning.
Yeah. What did she do? Did she ask y'all to give her a thing and just send it to her or something, or what?
Yeah, Molly just shot a text over.
Yeah, she reached out to all the people she likes, and so.
Thanks to.
We're it's like meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3 ain't. I put a comment on there. I said, "Happy birthday" from the other third of the Finders.
I was just gonna say, if Molly's watching, she can leave a comment, telling us what she doesn't like about Wes. So
yeah, thanks, Molly. Thanks, Molly. Leaving this 1/3 out, so that's fine. Now, because Stewart, you've known him for 4 or 5 years, right? And then Johnny, you've actually met her.
Yeah, Stewart's like an honorary consignment chat bro. Right. I mean, he had to decide between them or us. So he's.
Right. Well, as I was editing the video, I thought, okay, I see where I stand now. It's not a problem. But I did wish her happy birthday. So the big 50 for her. How about that?
Yeah, I was literally at work. If you look hard enough, I was trying to hide my work logo off of it. But
yeah, that was good, though. I enjoyed watching the video.
So how's your Q4 starting out, Johnny?
It has been okay. Numbers are kind of in line with where they've been, maybe down a little bit. I know like Poshmark, Poshmark did that fee change thing. And, everyone panics whenever there's any kind of change in anything, but especially in the reselling world with fees. So Poshmark went quiet for a couple days, but it's starting to pick back up to normal again. I will say with some of the higher end stuff, we're keeping a lot more money in our pocket, which is cool. But I know from the buyer standpoint, 6% plus a couple bucks adds up pretty quick on that too.
Yeah, Poshmark's the big winner in this because their overall fees went up by quite a bit. So,
exactly.
So did you get the shirt? Do you have the $5.95 closet wide shipping on your store? Did Poshmark give you that?
Yeah, apparently, because we're ambassador 2s or whatever it is.
Yeah, that was pretty cool that they did that. I mean, I just happened to notice it, so I think that's helped sell some. So like my Q4 so far, like volumes, I think's way up, but it's been a lot of smaller sales for the most part. I mean, I'm selling I'm shipping out a ton of packages, but it does seem to be lower dollar stuff, at least least right now. So
we've never, like, just looking back, I know we've only been doing this for a couple of years, but this is our third Q4. And just historically looking back, our numbers don't change a lot. And I think a lot of that is it's clothing.
Yeah.
So, people aren't necessarily buying that stuff as presents. Maybe if it's new, it tags stuff. But, we don't sell a ton of vintage. We don't sell toys or, things like that. That might be a little more holiday related. But the nice thing is we sell a lot of sweaters, which just take up a lot of room,
Mm-hmm.
So we shipped out, we had 54 orders going out from what we shipped today from the long weekend. And I mean, it was like, it filled up the back of the car, and that's because it was just big, bulky stuff. So it's nice to move that big stuff out.
That's a good feeling too, man. Just packing out the car,
Yeah.
Just say, well, look at all that.
Oh my God. So it was so funny. We went to the post office today and we had like 4 IKEA bags of stuff, and we just walk in and throw it off to the side, and our guys are amazing and they scan it later. This lady is just staring at us, literally jaw dropped, eyes as big as she can, and she's just staring at us, and we're like, what? And she's like, do you guys own a business or something? And we're like, oh, we sell on eBay. And she's like, this is all eBay? And, I wasn't going to get into like Poshmark, Mercari.
Yeah.
So we were just like, yeah, it's all eBay. And she's like, I've got to look into this. This is amazing. So that was kind of cool.
She's going to be the next podcast that blows up. She's going to be like, oh, yeah, I met the guy in the post office. It was great.
But she's just like watching us throw, just throw everything into those big, things on wheels. And her face is just priceless.
So when is there a difference in Q4 compared to holiday gifts, do you think?
I mean, I guess the closer you get to Christmas, the more likely it is people are buying specifically gift things. But I don't know that there's really a difference. I think people start their holiday shopping, anytime now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess they got to divide the year into something. So,
but as a seller though, have you been able to see? Because I mean, Stewart, you've been in it a lot longer than Johnny and I, but have you seen upticks in your sales, like a spike in certain times, like right after Thanksgiving, or do you see? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I do see an uptick in sales just in general the closer you get to Christmas. I mean, but I mean, I'm kind of like Johnny. I don't see a huge difference in sales between like Q4 and quarters 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes Q3 is a little slower just because it's summer, I think. And then school. You kind of have the end of summer and start of school in that Q3.
I personally think Q3 is the worst of all of them. You know what I mean?
I think it is too. I mean, and that's true at my antique malls too. But Q4, like the fall festival was a great kickoff for me for Q4 because I did really well at the booth in Clinton at that event. I mean, it was so crowded, and normally, it may take me a week to fill up a page of stuff. I mean, I think I did 4 pages in one day at the festival. Wow. So
that's awesome.
I was going to ask you how that went. That was, I think you said October the 4th or 5th or something.
I think it was both whatever the Friday, Saturday was like the 4th and the 5th, I believe. So it was, and I like the way traffic flowed in our new location, both for my booth personally, but just for the mall in general. Of course, every year at the festival on Friday, it seems like it always storms really bad. And I thought we'd escaped it, which it doesn't affect us, obviously, being inside, but there's all the street vendors. But about 4:30 on Friday, this storm blew up from nowhere. I mean, literally nowhere. Wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour. There were tents rolling down the street. You had a lot of people who had artwork and stuff out there and crafts and that kind of thing. And I mean, I heard a lot of people just had a bunch of stuff ruined. So, and
that's tough.
you kind of expected at the spring festival, but not so much at the fall. But yeah, it hadn't rained in forever. Then just this storm. If you looked at the radar, there was like this one speck over it. So
sitting right over top of you.
Yeah.
How did our we got to do the Beanie Babies moment, Johnny? We got to figure out how that went, because my camera on the Beanie Babies was not working as I was at the beach trying to see.
Hold on, just let me give you the latest Beanie Baby update.
Oh, we got a Beanie Baby update. Breaking news.
Let's see. Beanie Babies West. Revenue, so just pure revenue on the Beanie Babies. We've now made $74.60. That's total revenue. So when you take out fees and everything, Wes, your cut is $33.57. So you've didn't you pay? What was it you paid for them originally?
35.
So man, yeah, you're right. You're right there. $1.50. Like I sell one or two more Beanie Babies, you'll be over the hump and in the money.
It's only taken me, Johnny, 3.5 years to get it.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And remember, after we get past that, the rest of it's profit, right?
Yeah, it's all gravy after that.
So. I'm stoked to get to 35.
The China King and the Beanie Baby Kings of Knoxville, just right in front of me.
We'll have to have a ceremony when I present you. Maybe I'll make a big checkout.
You make a big check. No, that may cost too much. It may cost $35 to make a check.
Wes just goes to the bank with his giant check and is like, I would like to cash this.
Sir, that's not going to happen.
Stewart, do you like decorate your booths for the holidays? Like, do you hold stuff back and like, do you have Christmas stuff that waits to go out?
Not really. I mean, I will create a little Christmas area probably as we get closer to the, to the holidays. But no, I mean, we don't usually have a ton of Christmas stuff to sell. So I did pick up one of those ceramic Christmas trees yesterday, though. So I'm not going to wait. I'll go in and take it to the booth probably tomorrow.
Does traffic pick up for you, Stewart, during Christmas?
Oh yeah, I mean, it'll be busy probably now through the end of the year, just like it is online. I think there'll be a lot of traffic coming through the booths this week.
Now, do you start frequenting your booths more as the push gets closer to Christmas, or do you just
No, not really. And I mean, I already go a lot. I mean, I usually go to the Knoxville booths at least once a week, and generally to Clinton either once a week or every other week at the least. So I'm going out to Clinton tomorrow. I went to the other ones today.
And Howard, so that stuff that you sold that you talked about, was that all eBay stuff then?
Well,
what you found at that garage sale, or was that booth stuff?
No, well, it's been a little bit of both. Well, I just took stuff out to the booth today from that because I had not gone out there since this weekend. But yeah, all the sales I've had have just been, without getting into the whole like eBay, Poshmark, how I sell all these different things. We'll just call them all eBay sales.
It's all eBay.
Now, when you drop I heard you mention dropping your stuff off at the post office. Do they have a big bin you drop your stuff in? So y'all have stuff scanned.
No, our guys are amazing. And actually, we were talking last year and we didn't, but like this year, we actually want to like give them like a Christmas present. I don't know if you can or like what you're allowed to give them. But we're like, we got to do something for these guys because they're phenomenal. I mean, we don't lose packages. We don't. I don't know
what the rules on that is. I know like they can't. I do think there's some kind of rules in place. If anybody knows that, drop it in the comments. But I think to give them a gift card or something. I used to give. There was one Goodwill I went to, and they would let me go in the back room. So I always gave those girls gift cards every year for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they left, but They would hold stuff in the back for me though. Yeah, it kills me though, the number of people in some of the Facebook groups will talk about, I'm so tired of having to stand in line to get my stuff scanned. But then people go, why do you get it scanned? Well, if I don't get it scanned, it might not, the amount of, of course, with that being said, I don't think we've had a podcast since this happened. I can't remember if I talked about it last time or not. I had one of my biggest weeks of taking stuff to the post office ever. I think it was last week or week before. I took 30 packages or something and dropped them. I drive into the back parking lot and they have the big bins on the back deck back there, drop them in there. Well, of course, they had some kind of power outage at the distribution center, I guess, where they normally scan stuff. So not one of them got scanned. And the only reason I found out about it is because, you'll get the messages from Poshmark, please ship this item.
Yeah. On a Sunday.
I plan to ship this in 1 to 2 days.
He dropped it off 2 days before. What?
So then I started looking, none of the packages that I dropped off had scanned yet. So, I immediately just messaged everyone. I was trying to be a little proactive because I knew I'd dropped them off and just told everyone, hey, I dropped these off. I did talk to them at the post office. They said they had a power outage, but, they were on their way. And then, it took none of them, and they told me, they said they probably won't get scanned till they get to their destination. And literally as soon they didn't get scanned till they got delivered basically. So, but scared me a little bit. I'm just thinking of all the days to take 30 packages and
have
a power glitch. So
I love getting those, especially from Mercari, and it's a Sunday and it's have you shipped your item yet? And you're like, when Mercari?
Yeah, it's weird how Poshmark seems even though I even got one of those from Poshmark, was it yesterday morning, I guess, because I sold something on Friday, late Friday, and I'd already taken my stuff to the post office. So Monday was a holiday, but I don't think Poshmark cares. They just count number of days, and so the funny thing was I get the message, please ship so-and-so. And then 5 minutes later, I got, thanks for shipping so-and-so.
We do. I do hate the holiday Mondays because that's when all the buyers get really mad at you too. And they're like, oh, nothing's tracking yet. And I'm like, well, you ordered it Friday night and it's Monday and sorry, I forgot the post office. So, relax, it'll get there.
Johnny's, relax.
Chill out.
It's funny, and I think I may have talked about this last holiday because I think we were already doing the podcast then. So I used to always take my stuff in and I'd just put it on the counter. I didn't wait for a scan or anything. Of course, it's funny when you do that. People look at you like you're cutting line or something, even though you're just setting it up there because it's already prepackaged.
It's a great power move.
In the supervisor,
that begs the question: has anybody ever stopped you two and said, "Hey, what are you doing"?
No, but they look at you.
You just get dirty looks.
But the supervisor guy up front, he goes, hey, since it's the holidays, he said, why don't you take your stuff to the back? He said, it says keep out, but you can, there's several people who have a lot of shipments who take stuff back there. And he said the bins sits in this location. So I go back there the very first time I did it last year, and there were bins everywhere. I was like, okay, which ones do I put these in? And there was one that said outgoing and one that said incoming. So I put them in the one that said outgoing. Well, apparently they had that was old signage. What was painted on the wall, they'd flip-flopped them. So this stuff I dropped the very first time I went, it never started tracking. And then literally a month later, it finally just got delivered after I'd already refunded the 6 packages I dropped off because, so I was kind of gun shy because I talked to him. I said, I dropped them back there and they never showed up. I don't know if I can do this again. And so then he took me back there and goes, where'd you put them? I said, well, it's these bins over here. He said, oh, I don't know what happened to them if you put them there. So I'm like, well, why does it say incoming here? He said, well, that used to be that way, but we just never painted over the signs. So
Tony comes in there. That's where we donate to Tony. He just takes everything.
I have no idea. You should have seen, and I couldn't find, there was no workers anywhere. but it was so many people up front, and I thought, this must be it. It says outgoing, so I just threw them in there, and who knows where they went. They eventually made it, but.
Well, speaking of the podcast, we're up to, I think it's 160 subscribers now.
Yeah, we actually had a nice little bump. So we're 40 away now from our 200 and our next
going live again.
Yeah.
So if you've stuck with us for 45 minutes into this podcast and you're listening to this still, give us a subscribe if you haven't yet, and you'll get to see us live here hopefully in month, 2 months, a year. I don't know how long it'll take us to get to
but Johnny's still hoping for spring to keep it going around.
I think we'll be
500 is the big one, right? That's the one. 500 is when Johnny's gonna come here.
Can I get to Knoxville by car? No.
Yeah, you can come down from where you are. It'll be easy. You just come 81, but
we may have to meet up in Virginia somewhere. Just go to a point. Which wouldn't be too bad,
Well, I want Stewart to take me to Dollywood and ride rides unlimited and living the good life, man.
Yeah. Maybe Dad will buy you one of those fast passes.
They're like $90 or something over what you pay like $150 to get in, and then you buy a $90 thing to get you on all the rides. But
they're like, oh, you wanted to ride rides? That's more.
Oh, we were just trying to park the car. That's all. I'm serious though, Stewart. I haven't had a Dollywood pass in probably 15 years.
We had them a couple of years in a row when the kids were younger. Then we didn't have them for about 10 years. Just because if you go every year, you do get. But I think we are going to renew for next year. So did get some of the cinnamon bread the other night. That stuff's so good.
Working on Santa Bod.
Well, once we get that visit Knoxville.com sponsorship that we're holding out for, I feel like there'll be some Dollywood perks in that.
Well, if anybody from Dollywood is listening, see, we could go to Dollywood there and really film up some stuff and talk about Dollywood with the three Finders Flippers Resell Podcast guys there,
We could even do a remote. We could do a remote from there. So,
man, we could do live from Dollywood. That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Say, next to reselling NFL football and Knoxville, we probably talk about Dollywood more than anything else. So.
But we've already been covering a lot of it. We had the floods. Remember back a couple months ago, we had all the floods going, and So I think it'd be an amazing thing to do.
Do you think our channel would grow faster if we stopped talking about reselling and just talked about Dollywood?
Well,
just became a Dollywood podcast.
Our biggest episode ever with just the three of us is about Dollywood,
and that makes no sense to me because
people
kind of slow. It was really slow climber, and then when it got to a certain point, I was like, "What is going on here?"
I think what happened
people were just searching.
Well, I think what happened is Dolly was on YouTube one day and happened to be browsing around, saw it, and she told a couple of her friends.
Yeah, thanks, Dolly.
So,
could you imagine, like, you're trying to plan a family trip to Dollywood, and then you land on our video? And you're like, this didn't help at all.
Who are these guys? Stewart, we could get suits made up like Porter Wagner and have the rhinestones all over it and everything. Yeah. I know you, John, you don't know who that is, but that's who discovered Dolly, evidently, and put her on the map. He was a country music singer as well in his own right.
Well, anyway, if any of our viewers are interested in learning more about Dollywood, visit Dollywood.com.
Yeah. Anybody wants to gift us a season pass, we'll go up there and do that video then. There you go, Johnny.
Should we switch format? Dollywood only.
Dollywood.com.
All Dolly, all the time.
I feel this show's been all over the place. I guess we haven't been together for a week, so it's like we're just catching up.
Yeah. It has been kind of disjointed, but I like it, though. We've covered several topics.
Just a little hodgepodge.
That's all right.
Hopefully,
Wes, how has your wife's sales been?
My wife's sales have been outstanding. I'm way behind her. But no, funny enough, it's interesting. I'm actually doing, I guess it is the fourth quarter push or whatever, but I'm actually picked up pretty good during the week. That's good for me though, even better than where I was. So, I think last night I got home from school and I had 7 or 8 more sales just come in.
That's awesome.
So, I'll take that.
Just random like hodgepodge stuff, or
yeah. And that one, this Ephemera, this one sold right before I came on tonight, about an hour before we came on. And this is an international sale too. They said they really love the magazine. It's well put together. This thing is almost 100 years old. It's 5 years. It's 95 years old. So,
how are you going to ship that?
It amazes me when I'll find paper that from the 1800s or even like something like that from the 20s, and you think, man, it's amazing this stuff's in this good a condition.
Mm-hmm.
What's the odds that somebody kept this piece of paper and didn't throw it away? And
well, whoever had this one, the binder in it and everything, the pages are just like they're brand new. They're just not, flaky or anything. Of course, I don't know enough to describe Ephemera, as you do, Stewart. But for me, the layperson, it's put together. I'm sure Johnny will bubble wrap it and whatever else we need to do to protect it as much as possible.
Yeah, the main thing with Ephemera is just smell it and make sure it doesn't smell too musty. That's the big, that's what a lot of people, because a lot of times paper's been stored in, especially if it's been in a storage building or a warehouse or something, it might get musty or something, but usually it'll be stained too. The
place where we got this from, this lady, she had a lot of sewing things and stuff that she did, and this had some dresses and stuff in it. I don't know if she had made those over the years, the dresses or whatever, but evidently she kept them in her sewing room, and they never left the house. So
my dear Lloyd bought that for me when it was on the newsstand, and I read it once and then put it away.
I keep getting month after month, and the amazing thing on that magazine, it says 10 cents on the cover. 10 cents. So,
just magazines in general are like going the way of the dinosaur, though.
Yeah, right. I know. I always wonder, like when you see them still, like on the you're cashing out at the grocery store, and you're like, man, who still? I've never seen anybody with a magazine.
It's like newspapers, newspapers are dying a death too. The Knoxville paper. So, every once in a while I'll buy it and it's terrible now. They don't have hardly any local. It's all USA Today repackaged under a local banner, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
we're going to calculate.
I guess it's one of those things where, the newspaper's not as good and it keeps getting worse. So less people subscribe, and then the less people who subscribe, they don't have money to, so it just kind of this death spiral.
Look at the ad on the back. I don't know if you can see it real good.
Something about suds. There we go.
Yeah. Chip Sew is the name of it.
All right, guys. 10 cents in 1929. What would it cost today? $1.79.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
I would have thought that would have been much higher.
Yeah, 10 cents. And there it is.
Just the that hat and clothes she has on her so cool. Just the fashion. The fashion then.
Yeah, it's really cool. Here's your can of Missoula corn oil.
All right, the stock market crashed in October.
Okay, so this is June. Some 5 months after that. 4 months ago. 4 months, 4 months past that right there.
People were still living the good life at that point.
Stuart, I've made, I think it's my third Ephemera sale. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Mm.
I've sold a couple of pieces of ephemera this week. I sold some kind of Chevrolet brochure from the 50s. And then I think I sold a letter of some sort that was, I can't remember what the nature of it was now, but
Well, we bought a total of 6 or 7 magazines. We've sold 3 of them, $10, $10, and $13. So, $33, and I paid $2 a magazine, so $6 into 33.
I did pick up this whole binder of Ephemera, and it's all French letters from the 1700s.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's pretty wild to think that letters from the 1700s.
Yeah.
Then there's like this check that.
Can you read it at all?
No. I mean, it's hard to read because the script, and then I don't speak French either.
God, he does look like Santa.
Tell him what you want, Johnny.
Yeah.
Daddy, can I get 2 Dollywood passes?
Santa. Yeah.
And throw in
2
some
passes.
And some Bills football tickets again. Because I sold mine.
Have you been a good boy, Johnny?
I'm craving a Coca-Cola all of a sudden.
We should dress up. Stewart, you should dress up like Santa Claus, and me and Johnny will dress up like little boys, and we'll superimpose ourselves. Some Santa's.
Well, that can be our Christmas episode.
Oh, there you go, Johnny. There's our thumbnail, Johnny.
I like it.
Costume for our Halloween episode. That's 2 weeks, coming up in 2 weeks. So,
do we need specific Halloween topics to discuss? Should we rank some Halloween candies?
Yeah, I was going to say we can each bring our top 10 candies or top 5 candies. 10's probably too many. Top 5 best and top 5 worst candies.
Okay. Are we doing a show and tell, or what are we doing?
Should we do like a tier system?
You're getting very complicated there.
And we can have debates.
I just think we bring our top 5 favorite and top 5 least favorite, and then we can argue. So do we want to share our list with each other or make it a surprise?
Yeah, I feel like I can just separate screen. If I'm sharing my screen, if I have a second one open, you wouldn't see it. You would just see the one. So I can go off to the side, and if you say whatever, good and plenty, I can go save a photo.
I think you can either share your whole screen or just an app. So if you have a photo viewer up, you can share just that.
Well, that is all the time that we have this evening on the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. Gentlemen, another great episode this evening.
Always good.
That was a fun episode. I think we were kind of all over the place since we haven't seen each other for a week, but it's great to be back and appreciate everybody who watched it. And as Johnny mentioned at the start, we're up to 160 subscribers. So officially well on our way to 200 now. So looking forward to that live.
It's going to be a fun one. Well, gentlemen, you take care and have a great week of reselling.
You too. Happy quarter 4, everyone.